September 10th, 2025, 7:02 p.m., Orem, Utah. The crowd outside Utah Valley University buzzes with anticipation. Charlie Kirk, the 31-year-old conservative activist and co-founder of Turning Point USA, is scheduled to give a speech at a student-led event. Supporters gather under banners of red, white, and blue. Security patrols the area, scanning rooftops and checking bags. On the surface, it feels like just another evening in America's ongoing battle of ideas. Loud, messy, divided. But at 7:07 p.m., the night erupts into chaos. A crack echoes through the plaza. Then another. People scream, duck, scatter. At first, some think it's fireworks. But the panic is real. Kirk collapses on stage, struck by a sniper's bullet. Security rushes in, shields raised, voices shouting, "Shooter! Shooter!" The sound of sirens grows louder as students flee in terror, clutching each other's hands, cell phones trembling as they record the unthinkable. By 7:18 p.m., law enforcement locks down the campus. Officers swarm the rooftops, scanning for movement. But the shooter is gone. What's left behind is carnage, confusion, and the stark reality that an American political figure has just been assassinated, live in front of his followers. In the hours that follow, the nation reels. Charlie Kirk was a polarizing figure, revered by some for his unapologetic defense of conservatism, despised by others for his fiery rhetoric. But whether you admired or opposed him, the fact remains, political violence has spilled blood again on U.S. soil. September 10th, 2025, 11:45 p.m. At a press briefing in Orem, Utah's governor stands before flashing cameras, his voice grim. "We have lost a life tonight. We will not allow our state to descend into violence. We will find whoever did this." Behind him, FBI agents, local detectives, and Secret Service stand shoulder to shoulder. The manhunt begins. Investigators recover chilling evidence at the scene. On the rooftop of a campus building overlooking the plaza, they find a sniper rifle wrapped in a towel. Next to it, shell casings with strange engravings. Messages etched into brass. Some read like personal declarations. Others are cryptic, almost ideological. A DNA swab is taken from the rifle, from the towel, from cigarette butts nearby. Detectives know they are racing against time. September 11th, 2025, 9:20 a.m. The nation wakes to headlines, "Charlie Kirk assassinated." News anchors replay the moment again and again. The blurry live-stream footage of Kirk collapsing mid-speech, the chaos that followed. On social media, the footage spreads like wildfire. Hashtags #CharlieKirk, #political violence, #Utah shooter trend worldwide. Conspiracy theories ignite within hours. Some call it staged. Others point fingers at ideological enemies. In reality, investigators already have their first lead, DNA. Lab results confirm a profile. But who does it match? By late afternoon, they have a name. Tyler James Robinson, 22 years old, from Orem. September 11th, 2025, 6:40 p.m. Police release surveillance photos of a man in a hoodie, captured near the rooftop on the night of the shooting. The public reacts instantly. And then, a breakthrough no algorithm could provide. Tyler Robinson's parents call police. They recognize their son. They fear the worst. Within hours, the manhunt intensifies. September 12th, 2025, 4:15 a.m. After 33 tense hours, SWAT teams close in on a small house outside Orem. Neighbors hear the flashbangs, the shouts, the pounding of boots on pavement. Robinson is dragged from the shadows, his face pale, his hands cuffed. A press release later confirms it, suspect in custody. Tyler Robinson arrested for the murder of Charlie Kirk. As dawn breaks, the first details of Robinson's life begin to surface. He is described by some as quiet, withdrawn, a young man battling inner storms. Former classmates recall him as bright but isolated. Investigators uncovered digital footprints, Discord chats, encrypted texts, disturbing notes. He allegedly told a friend, "Some hate can't be negotiated out." His obsession with Kirk, prosecutors say, had reached a breaking point. September 13, 2025, 9:45 a.m., Salt Lake City. In a packed courtroom, Robinson makes his first appearance. His expression is blank, almost detached. Prosecutors outline the charges: aggravated murder, felony discharge of a firearm, obstruction of justice, witness tampering, and committing a violent offense in the presence of a child. A stunning revelation: his alleged sniper nest was on a rooftop above a daycare center. Parents gasp audibly from the gallery. The judge reads the penalties. The prosecution signals they will seek the death penalty. Robinson speaks only once, softly, "Not guilty." His voice is nearly drowned by the furious shouts from Kirk's supporters. Security escorts him out under heavy guard. Outside, the community splits. For some, Kirk was a martyr. For others, his death is a reminder of the dangers of inflamed rhetoric. Commentators argue late into the night. Was Robinson a lone wolf consumed by ideology, or a symptom of something bigger? Meanwhile, investigators dig deeper. They uncover Robinson's search history, pages of ballistic data, sniper forums, political manifestos. They find engravings on his bullets, words carved with obsessive precision. Some read like final statements. Others reference Kirk by name. To prosecutors, it paints a chilling picture of premeditation. And yet, beneath the cold facts lies a human story. Robinson's family releases a statement: "We are devastated. Tyler was troubled. We begged him to get help. We never imagined this." His mother weeps outside their home, refusing to answer more questions. September 14, 2025, 2 p.m., Washington, D.C. Congress holds a moment of silence for Kirk. Leaders from both parties condemn the violence. But almost immediately, partisan battles flare. One side blames heated rhetoric. The other points to rising extremism online. For the FBI, the politics are irrelevant. They focus on evidence. September 15, 2025, 8:30 a.m., Utah County Jail. Robinson sits in isolation. He reportedly tells guards little, spending hours staring at the walls. Prosecutors prepare their case. They highlight the DNA evidence, the surveillance, the confession of his parents. But they also frame the motive: a young man radicalized by ideology, inflamed by hatred. The echoes of past political assassinations reverberate. From John F. Kennedy to Robert Kennedy to attempts on Ronald Reagan and Gabby Giffords, America has lived this nightmare before. But 2025 feels different. With social media amplifying every message, every ideology, the line between speech and violence feels thinner than ever. By the end of the week, the public demand for answers grows louder. Who exactly was Tyler Robinson? How did a 22-year-old from a quiet Utah town decide to kill one of the nation's most recognizable conservative voices? And what happens when political violence meets the full force of the American legal system? Those answers will emerge in the trial. A trial that promises to be one of the most explosive in recent history. September 16, 2025, 9 a.m., Utah District Court. The courtroom is overflowing. Reporters, law students, and citizens line every bench, their notebooks and cameras ready. This is no ordinary trial. This is the prosecution of Tyler James Robinson, the man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk. Security is tight, with metal detectors at every entrance and U.S. Marshals standing like statues along the walls. Robinson enters wearing a muted orange jumpsuit, shackled at the wrists. His eyes scan the room once, briefly landing on the Hammerberg-like gallery of Kirk's supporters who sit stone-faced, holding signs that read "Justice for Charlie." He lowers his gaze. The prosecution wastes no time. Lead attorney Michael Carter steps forward, his voice steady but charged. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is about hatred turned into action. It's about a young man who chose to aim his rifle at a political figure and pull the trigger. And it's about the chilling evidence he left behind. On a large projector, they display the rifle, its cold metal frame wrapped in a towel. The jurors lean forward as Carter highlights the DNA swabbed from its grip, matched conclusively to Robinson. Then the engraved shell casings appear, enlarged on the screen. Words etched in brass. No more lies. Silence him. History will remember. The gallery murmurs. At 10:15 a.m., the medical examiner takes the stand. Her testimony is blunt. Mr. Kirk died from a single gunshot wound to the chest. The trajectory indicates a downward angle consistent with a rooftop position. The bullet pierced his lung, causing rapid internal bleeding. Death would have occurred within minutes. The jurors listen in grim silence. By afternoon, prosecutors pivot to motive. They present transcripts of Robinson's digital conversations, Discord messages, text exchanges, fragments of online postings. One message reads, "I can't stand the hate he spreads. Some hate can't be negotiated out. It has to be stopped." Another, "This is bigger than me. People will understand when it's done." The jury exhales collectively, realizing this was not a crime of impulse but one of ideology. September 17th, 2025, 2:30 p.m. The defense begins its counterattack. Robinson's attorney, Sarah Delgado, frames him as a troubled young man, spiraling in isolation. Tyler Robinson is not a monster, she says. He is a product of neglect, of untreated mental health struggles, of a digital world that preys on the vulnerable. She points to his clean criminal record, his history of depression, his family's pleas for help. This was not political terrorism. It was a tragedy born of illness. But the prosecution counters quickly. Illness may explain, but it does not excuse, Carter thunders. He reminds the jury of the planning, the rooftop vantage point, the engraved bullets, the towel-wrapped rifle. This was not a breakdown. This was premeditated murder. September 18th, 2025, 11 a.m. Court resumes with testimony from Robinson's parents. His father's voice cracks. "We recognized him in the photos. We turned him in. It was the hardest call of my life, but we knew we had to." His mother weeps, describing Tyler as once a curious little boy who loved science, now lost to shadows she couldn't reach. The gallery watches in stunned quiet as the human side of the accused is revealed. But the most chilling testimony comes from an FBI digital forensics agent. She unveils Robinson's private notes, discovered on a hidden drive. On screen, the words flash, 7:07 p.m. the perfect shot. He has to fall. This will be remembered. The timestamp matches precisely the moment Kirk was gunned down. The jurors shift uncomfortably. One takes off his glasses, rubbing his eyes. September 19th, 2025, 4:45 p.m. The trial shifts into the death penalty debate. Prosecutors argue Robinson's act meets every threshold for capital punishment. Premeditation, targeting of a public figure, terrorizing the community, and committing the act near a daycare where children could have been harmed. Carter's voice sharpens. If the death penalty is not for this, what is it for? The defense pleads for life imprisonment instead. Delgado insists that execution will not heal political divides, nor will it resurrect Kirk. Killing Tyler Robinson will not prevent the next tragedy. It will simply create another body, another grieving family. Her words resonate with some in the gallery, but others remain unmoved. Meanwhile, outside the courthouse, protests swell. On one side, mourners hold candles, chanting, "Justice for Charlie." On the other, activists denounce the death penalty, holding signs, "Don't kill in our name." The streets of Salt Lake City become a reflection of the courtroom inside, a nation split by ideology, struggling to define justice. September 21st, 2025, 6:20 p.m., CNN Studios. Legal analysts dissect every angle. One commentator calls Robinson the face of homegrown extremism. Another warns, "We cannot ignore the role of online radicalization here. The forums, the echo chambers, they feed violence." A former prosecutor leans forward. "This is bigger than Kirk. This is about how America confronts the weaponization of ideology." September 23rd, 2025, 9:10 a.m., verdict day. The courtroom is silent as the foreperson rises. We, the jury, find the defendant, Tyler James Robinson, guilty on all counts. Gasps erupt. Kirk's supporters clutch each other, some weeping openly. Robinson sits motionless, his lips pressed tight. The judge bangs the gavel for order. Sentencing is set for November, where the death penalty will be decided. But the guilty verdict alone sends shockwaves across the nation. For some, it is justice delivered. For others, it raises deeper questions. Did Robinson act alone, or was he shaped by forces larger than himself? Can ideology be criminalized when it crosses into violence? As Robinson is led away, a reporter shouts, "Tyler, do you regret it?" He doesn't answer. The heavy doors close behind him. October 2025, beyond the trial. The echoes of this case ripple far outside Utah. Politicians weaponize Kirk's death, pointing to rising extremism and the dangers of political rhetoric. Universities debate how to secure campuses. Families across America wonder, could their own sons or daughters be drawn into such violence online? In the end, the story of Charlie Kirk's assassination is not just about one man's life taken, or another's life on trial. It is about the fragility of democracy in an era where words become weapons, and where ideology can lead to murder. And as the judge prepares to decide whether Tyler Robinson will live or die, one question hangs heavy over the nation. Will this verdict deter the next shooter, or is America destined to replay this cycle again? Here at Crimes Uncoded, we're not just telling crime stories. We're breaking down the systems, the motives, and the laws that define them. Make sure to subscribe, because next up, the killer who believed he was a prophet, and the law that couldn't stop him.